registered it, and then like from my own pocket. Sometimes people donate, but you don't even get a lot of donations from people. And then I use my own money to fund a lot of things and stuff. So I felt like that is my divine purpose, just to help people. Like there's one thing I believe in this: like we are puzzles in this world, and we have to hold each other to fit. I mean, to complete the puzzle. Like other than that, I know we cannot help everyone, but each of us can help someone. So that's what I've been doing, and I feel like that's my divine purpose. And I always like making sure that people are happy, so that even if I don't have, there's been times in my life that I didn't have anything, and then the little that I had, I have to empty it for someone because the person was desperate in need of it. So that to me, that's my divine purpose.
Nice. So and you learn it from your dad.
And that's a
Yeah.
trait I learned from my dad. And even not only him, like he's no more, may his soul rest in peace, but I've also learned it from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like people have helped me. Like my life, if I look at where I am now, is just a miracle. And that's it.
Yeah. Totally useful.
That's
Yeah,
a
and
trait I
I
learned from
mean
my dad.
that's really good. Like drawing that from people close to you. You know, they show us a lot of examples, and it's good that we draw.
Yeah, members and non-members that I learned so much from. And there was one thing in my mind when I went on mission. I I there were some people who were all about baptism. Yeah, I know some people will come for me in the comment section, but I don't care. It's the truth. There are some people who are all about baptism, but for me, this my baptism. You open your mouth to tell me whatever I'm teaching you or preaching to you is true. That is my baptism. I won't force you to go and enter the waters of baptism. It has to come from you. I've got to a point. I've got people who beg me just to get baptized because I want people to know that I'm doing this for Christ and for myself, not because the church. They say the church is rich or this and that. Yeah. So, and I didn't want a situation whereby I will leave and then those people will also leave the
Yeah.
church. I want you to believe in whatever I'm teaching you, so that when I'm not there, you can make decisions on your own.
That's nice. Yeah, and I feel that's really, really good because it's like you think about substance, right? In school, they teach us stuff, and most times they cramp all these topics into our head, right? You need to like memorize so many things. You need to do like times table and like you come early in the morning and there's like the teacher has a cane back in Ghana and it's like already it's like one times one like two times two, and you just need to like your brain needs to go like that.
Mental.
Yeah, they call it mental. But then you sit down and think about it and be like, wait, is that really helping me? Like, is that really helping me be successful in like my education? What am I really understanding out of it? Right. And I feel for someone to be able to say they're actually successful is that they've gotten to a point where whatever they are doing or whatever they've been able to achieve goes forever. Right. It's not something that has a timeline.
Yeah.
That's something that's going to end, right? As a personal progress that you've made for yourself. And so I feel each and every day we have the opportunity to be successful, right? We won't sit down and think and be like, I'll be successful at the end of the year. Right. It's not something that has a timeline. It's not something that's going to end, right? It's a personal progress that you've made for yourself. And so I feel each and every day we have the opportunity to be successful, right? We won't sit down and think and be like, I'll be successful at the end of the year. But
your goal will never move towards you.
Yeah,
That's a
so
good,
I was like,
that's a good
okay,
slogan.
let me approach the brand, applying for jobs. Not all of them will, accept you.
Yeah.
Some will say no, but out of the 10, at least you get one who will offer you an interview, and that's a win. If you get an interview, it's a win, even if you
Yeah.
don't get employed. So many companies will say no, some will say yes. And then I'm at a point where I don't even approach companies anymore.
They approach you.
They approach me because they see that I reach and stuff. And when I even started, there were companies that I was doing stuff for free. Now I get paid to do stuff.
Nice. That's good. That's a
Yeah.
good. That's a good way.
And
to
there
go
are
about it.
some that I'll be like, okay, most of the time I calculate, okay, the worth of the product that they are sending me, and then I can choose to not take any money or stuff. Or yeah, like the recent deal we got, I think it was closer to a $10,000 deal, whatever. So it was a couch and whatever. And then yeah, I was like, oh, just send it. I'll just shoot a video. I didn't charge them for anything, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to put a lot of work into your goals to achieve them.
And you need
because-
to sacrifice.
and you need to sacrifice. Achieving it's a lot of sacrifice. Trust me, especially content creation, it's a lot of sacrifice. There are times that you don't want to create content. Someone like me, I was struggling because I hate the popularity. I always like being behind the scene, making things move and stuff. So even my nonprofit, most of the time you wouldn't even see my face, like just other people and stuff. But I realized that if I don't do it that way too, man, I won't get the money and I won't get
Yeah.
the deals.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to sacrifice, be disciplined, be determined, and then invest. Read as well. Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. Ken, what about you?
I mean, just to add up on that, as you're saying, I think mine is mostly of the mindset, right? I'm a day-to-day person. I am like, today is today. I have today. I might not have tomorrow, right? So I'm more of like, what am I going to be able to do today? Like, how do I want to feel today? It's you deciding, do you want to be happy today? Or do you want if I was happy, then yeah, I was
Yeah.
successful.
Nice. I think I'm really interested in how you came about the tech, how you came about trying to escape reality, but now you're actually making money out of that escape. How did you come up with that idea?
So I used to.
this.
There's this guy on YouTube that I watch a lot. His name is Tech Source, and I watch him a lot. He mostly people will submit their setup to him, and then he will just do a review and sometimes tell them, "Hey, do this, do that," and then give them recommendations and stuff. And when COVID hit, I mean, everyone was home. But I was not even doing content. I was just working from home. And then 2021, got married, then lost my dad. And then I was like, let me try and do whatever they've been doing on TV, and see how it goes. So,
yeah.
yeah, I started doing that because, in my setup, one thing I enjoy doing is cable management. I love cable management. It's like you are playing a game and you are trying to see how
to put this here, put that here, so that it all look nice. So doing that, it takes my mind off so many things. Like
Okay.
it's just a
I
therapy.
see, yeah.
It takes my mind off so many things. So that is why most people will see me changing my setup a lot. Like I can change my setup within a month. I can change it like twice or 3 times. Within 4-6 months, I can change it like 4 or 5 times. Like last year alone, trust me, I changed my setup more than 20 times. And it's
Yeah.
there. The record is there on Instagram. So
Are you paying anybody for that kind of therapy?
so it's there. And sometimes people be like, oh, leave it. You've been changed. My wife especially will be like, you're changing your setup a lot. And then, yeah, I mean, now I'm sure she'll understand why.
That's good. Yeah, I think for me, what I've learned is I'll give you one example. So I started doing GIS in college, and then I took one programming class, and I just fell in love with it. So I switched from GIS to software engineering. But then something that helped me a lot was the consistency. Yeah. And it's still paying dividends. My boss, who was Kate Smith, I was working for him on campus, and he saw that potential in me. Like, hey, you can do this, even though you have background in GIS, but if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And so he just gave me a job to design some kiosks for campus. I don't know if you guys saw that on campus. So that really gave me the opportunity to actually explore and come up with ideas like, okay, can I really do it? Is this something that I really want to do as a profession? And then I was able to do it, well, like with some guidance and researching a lot. But what he told me at the end of it was like, you're very consistent. You pursue knowledge, even like when you don't know about things, you want to learn more about it. So that was like a reflection for me to actually remember always to be persistent and consistent in everything that I do. And that's one principle that has helped me to be successful when it comes to school, because school is hard. I'm not like someone who likes to sit in class. I want to go out there and then do stuff, you know. But the consistency has paid off, and it's still paying dividends. I was having a conversation with my brother, and then it just came out of my mind. Like I told him, like the only difference between success and failure is the consistency. Yeah. And I think that's very, very true. Like if you're consistent with your goals, you'll be able to accomplish it. But if you're not consistent, then even if you are very skilled and talented, you can be successful. Like that state of mind needs to be there in order for you to reach that goal.
I think one of the issue with becoming successful with people nowadays is that they want everything. Like when I start something today, within a month I wanted to I would just want to see.
You want to see results.
No, it doesn't work that way.
I think it's how the world is moving now.
Yeah.
You know, like social media and like the internet is like, you know, we are all connected so fast like that, and you reach someone in like a different continent, you know? So it's like our brain is like, everything just needs to move that fast. But yeah,
let me give you an example. So we were ordering something on Amazon, and then I didn't get the 2-day shipping. And I was so frustrated. And then all of a sudden it hit me like, why am I even frustrated about 2-day shipping? Like, do I really need this thing right now? And I recognized that I didn't need that thing right away. But like that's a very good example of how we want things like instantly, and sometimes we become entitled for things that we've not even worked for, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, getting back to being persistent and, you know, what was the second one? Consistent. Yeah. So it's like, think about it. You wake up every morning, the first thing you do is what? Go brush your teeth, or you go and eat. But at least every day you brush your teeth, right? Mm-hmm. Why do you do that?
You don't want to smell.
You don't want to have like bad breath. You talk to someone and like, I don't want to talk to you. But how many times have you done that in your life? Can you think about it? Like, how many times have you done that?
I think like every day of your life.
Yeah, every day.
it's become part of you,
Yeah.
right? It's become part of your routine that you do. And so I feel with being successful is like, as you were saying, that consistency, right? It needs to become part of your daily routine. You need to find time in your day and put that in it. And as you keep doing it, it becomes part of you. And it's no longer even going to look like work or look like something burdensome, that you have to do every time. But remember, starting it, it's going to be hard, right? When you started brushing your teeth, it's like you need to always remember, I have not brushed my teeth. I need to go brush my teeth. Before in Ghana, I just brush my teeth in the morning. In the evening, I don't even brush my teeth. I go and sleep.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I brush my teeth morning and evening. Now, brushing in the evening, sometimes I'll forget. But as I kept doing it, it became a part of me, and now I just do it before you. So
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see this is a very interesting conversation that we are having. But in future episodes, we'll be talking about, we'll be going more details into all these things. I think what we want you to do is learn from the little that we've discussed today, and then also come up with your own definitions of success and what principle that you learned from this conversation, or you've learned from someone, or you've seen from someone that you can actually implement in your life to be successful. I think we're going to end our conversation here today. This is just the introduction, and it's already fun. And we expect to see you in our next episode and talk about all these things. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment section. If you have contributions, like what from your own experiences, what you can put there for other people to learn too, don't forget to do that. This has been the Success Mindset podcast, and today I was here with Ken and D-Tech.
Yep.
Thank you guys for coming.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Profit Hackers. I'm Jeremy Lott, the Chief Visionary for Foundation Accounting and Consulting. I owned a construction company for about 15 years before making a change to accounting because my accountants sucked. My goals are to simplify accounting for construction company owners, fuel your profits, level up your cash flow, and help you grow in a financially responsible way. So let's go. Hey, Profit Hackers. Today we're going to focus on the difference between focusing on cash flow versus focusing on debts. So to start with, I want to tell a quick story. I spent 2 years in the Philippines as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ. And while I was there, we came across a vendor that was selling custom machetes. And so, of course, my companion and I both decided that we needed custom machetes. So we ordered them and then waited. And when we got them back, we were so excited, and they looked so cool. And they were all custom with fancy sheaths, and the handles were all carved, and it was really cool. We were really excited about them. And so as soon as we received them, we decided we needed to try them out. And so we had a coconut tree in our backyard, and our laundry line was attached as like a wire from that tree to another tree. And that's important here in a second. But I decided that I was going to climb up this tree.
People do business with people that they know and that they trust. That was one of the first lessons I learned in business. You can't just be transactional. You got to cultivate, develop, and build relationships that will last you over a sustained period to help you achieve your business goals. Welcome to our sponsor mini-series. This mini-series is designed to give you a deeper insight into 4 categories: workforce development, technology, risk management and insurance, and third-party administration. You're going to get an insight into the people and the products that's bringing the value to your business. Now, if you're like me, one thing I hate is to be sold something. It just doesn't feel right. Just give me the real answers. I'm going to ask the tough questions. Show me what you can do and what you can't do, and I'll make my own informed decision. And sometimes we'll find out if the solution doesn't work for you, but we're going to go deep. And if you find this interesting or you want to learn more, Check out our sponsors in deeper detail. Go to their websites. But when you call them, make sure you use the L12 discount code because, they're giving you free money. You might as well use it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the mini-series. I'm Jason Burns, your host on Last of First, and I'm excited for you to learn, uncover, and discover what can work best on your Last of First journey. Welcome back to Season 2 of the Last of First podcast. I'm your host, Jason Burns. Today's topic, and we have a 3-part mini-series on risk management and insurance. And I really want you guys to take your time to understand all the concepts that we're going to go through. I used to be a previous owner of a final mile business, and I had several questions about insurance. Why is it going up? Why do you need all this information, et cetera, et cetera. So rather than you continue to rack your brain and figure out what to do next, we're going to bring information to you live and in color. Joining the president and CEO of CUI Insurance Agency, Tanner Owens. And CUI is the agency that I actually joined when I left my stint being a final mile owner and then working for the company that acquired me, Drop Off. So Tanner, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Jason.
How you doing?
Glad to be here.
Good, good. So let's start before we get into the details of insurance, and we have a few topics that our guests want to hear. Tell me about you. So you came into insurance. You're a third-generation owner of the agency. How did the agency get started? What was the origins of the company?
My grandfather, Ron Shepard, started the agency in 1969, and my mother's involved as well. Yeah. And then I played baseball, and literally outside of baseball, did one other job and decided to start in the off season to see what insurance is all about, from literally doing certificates to back end stuff. And then I think my second year coming back from off season, I started selling and landed a couple of accounts. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. What were your first accounts? You remember?
I do remember Corlett Express and Action Transport, both transportation accounts. Landed them the same day.
And you used to own a delivery company too yourself? You had some background in actually owning a transportation company?
Yes, I was doing that while I was doing insurance. Okay. I specialized in transportation at the time, did a bunch of stuff, and one of my customers decided to say, hey, let's partner up on a business together. And so, yeah, we ran about 15 trucks, team driving all over the country, and doing that local team and insurance. Yeah, I've specialized in the game and transportation.
So you felt the pain, some of the challenges of insurance, not just being on the side where you were selling insurance. And
customers decided to say, hey, let's partner up on a business together.
Transportation company.
And so, yeah, we ran about.
So I think it's really important that you had this experience as an owner
doing
of a transportation company, coupled with being an owner of the agency,
the game
and
transportation.
So you felt the pain. Before we get into the challenges of insurance, not just being on the side. Talk about the agency, where the focus is from a vertical standpoint, experience as the owner and growth that you've experienced.
So, yeah, we ran about.
So I think it's really important that you had this experience as an owner.
Doing that 7 years since I've bought my family out. And we were small. My grandfather, he had a great book of business. And to this day, we actually have some clients, large clients, not small, large clients that have been with us for over 50 years. Wow. How you do that, I think, is relationships and service. And at the end of the day, trust. And I think we've built that trust, and me personally with clients, and we've gone from basically 2 employees 7 years ago to close to 50 now on the P&C side, and then we've got about almost 20 on the benefits team as well. So we're a full service agency, P&C, group benefits, 401k, life insurance, we can do it all.
Yeah. So P&C, property and casualty.
Yep.
What industries really does CUI focus in?
I would say 4 main categories. So you have construction. We do a lot of construction. Manufacturing. Okay. Probably our biggest component is transportation. And then captive space. So self-insured space.
Yeah, yeah. So this podcast is obviously about Last of First, so we're going to dig heavy into transportation, but we'll come back, talk some captive stuff. But I think before we get into the life and benefit side, because a lot of owners that I talk to, this is a challenge for them, right? Most times they're trying to solve both of these, P&C and the life side. How does those two things work together within the agency at CUI?
I think we've done a good job. One service agency to go to. And to be frank, as owners around the country and are feeling it the same as myself, and pains of health insurance is same as property and casualty, but health insurance has really gone through the roof the last few years. And agencies, other brokers, and to be successful. And pitch, the way they do things, agencies, all, especially the large, we represent or go against, I would say, the big boys in this property and casualty space. And they all have, they say, loss control, safety, but what would really separate us from our competitors? And I really believe our claims are phenomenal. In the event of our customer having a claim, we have, I think, combined over 35, 40 years of experience in claims management. They're W-2 employees of CUI, and their main job is to manage and litigate claims and protect our customers from A to Z. They get a claim, they call us. Typically they call the broker because that's their first point of contact.
Right.
And then our broker will help be the liaison to our claims team, and they do a fantastic job.
Give me a little more. Tell me exactly what would that person do? Like, how would they? So I have a claim. Let's say you're my broker. I call you up and say, hey, I had a IC just ran to a minivan.
Yeah.
And we have a claim we need to file. So then you hand it off to one of our claims managers inside the office. What are they doing? How are they really advocating for me in that scenario?
I mean, there's different scenarios, obviously. If it's an IC, I think that's a little easier than a W-2 because W-2 employee, you're going to have a workers' comp claim probably.
Yeah.
And then an auto claim. This one is typically just going to be a non-owned to protect the company. But they'll talk to the IC directly. They'll help get the statements. They'll help file the claim. To me, it's easy to file a claim. That's not the hard part. I think the hard part is the intricacy of managing the claim and getting it closed as fast as possible. We've learned over time an open claim, doesn't matter if it's an auto claim minus physical damage or a workers' comp claim, the longer it's open, the more it's going to cost. And
Hey, children, get your culture. And don't stay there and just...
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Culturally Rooted. As you know, I got my boy, to my left, cousin.
Bula.
How you doing
What's
today?
cracking? I'm chilling.
All right.
I'm big chilling today.
Hey, right across from cousin, I got Superman.
Yes, sir.
What up, Superman? You know what I'm saying? And here we go, guys. With no further ado,
Come on now.
look, I'm humble to bring in our guests. We've been waiting for a cool minute to get them in, and we finally got them in. Taufui Evalu Vakapuna.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Hey, first of all, Fui, I appreciate you for taking time to come on our podcast, man. Like I said in the beginning, we've been waiting to tell your story.
Man.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think it's time that the people know who you are, man. And I just want to say thank you, man, for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
No, the pleasure's mine. Thank you guys for having me. And it's humbling. It's humbling to be here with y'all. Like, this is a vibe. I love it. This is a vibe.
We're going to get on with it, though. We'll get on with it. Hey, but on Culturally Rooted, man, one thing we do on our podcast is we like to go all the way back to the roots. We like to tell the journey, you know what I mean? Because obviously people know who you are. You know where you at now.
Yeah.
But some people don't know who Fui was from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do, We try to go to the roots. So
Love it.
where you from, Fui?
Yeah, well, man, I'll start with my parents.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, come on.
I'll start with my dad, Semisi Vakapuna, and he's from Mu'atataka Motonga.
Okay.
Out there in La Paja specifically, right? And then my mom, Wina Vesinia Taufotofua, and she's from Uiha.
Okay.
And so,
dope.
by the way of Kotu, she always has to plug in Kotu.
Hey, shout out, Mom. Yeah,
Come on.
okay.
So those two right there, like, but they're from their parents, right?
Right.
Like, my shout out to my grandfather Viliami, Wakapuna, Manulua,
Okay.
Motumanu, and then my other side, Fine Taufotofua, and Silia Molisi. And so there's a few grandparents that I have that are blended. Right?
Go ahead. Shout them out, Fui. Yeah,
That's love.
What people don't understand is our grandparents are very important in our story.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I give you that for shouting them out, man, because it wouldn't be no Fui without
For sure.
the grandparents.
Yep.
So, yeah, so I'm just saying that so people understand.
yeah.
what's
That's
going
kind
on.
of like a old school Tongan thing
Right.
too, or like a poly thing in general.
Yeah.
Like when you ask, "Who are you?"
mom and dad,
Right.
where they're both from, and then automatically people say, "Oh, I know who you are."
Yeah, I
That's
know
your
that.
mom and dad?
Right.
Okay, so
That's what I'm
hey,
saying.
just so y'all know, that's what Fui doing right now.
Yeah, okay.
So just going back, to those roots, right? The title of our family from my mom's side is, when we introduce ourselves, it'll be Fis Mohat Moa. So that's the title we use.
What does that mean, Fui?
So that just is a title that my mom's family used when generals and Fisi Mohat Moa meant where they went and conquered and received
Right.
the title from the king.
Right.
And so Fis Mohat Moa is a title that we used out in Weha. And my dad, right, his everybody knows him as Ma'ukakala, right? And so he's a Matapuli, a speaker of the king if he was to come or represent any of the royal families. So that's kind
You
of
come from royalty, Fui?
Nah.
Nah, hold on. Is that what he just said, cousin?
Hey, tell him how we're related.
Oh, he was the servant. He was the butler.
Tell me, tell him Fui, I'm
Dang,
waiting.
hold on. Fui,
That's
for
dope.
real?
So we would say we'd be in service for the royal family, right? So my father's very loyal to the family, and
That's hard.
and so he gets to be a matapule and speak for and behalf of them whenever they come and
Wow.
do the lea.
Yeah, or anything. He's going to be
go
the
talk.
Wow.
But yeah, shout out to them. It's just because of them and grandparents and also my wife's family, right? My wife's family, her mom's Tahitian, and her father is Samoan.
Come on, that's right.
Right? Hinanui, Antonina Hinanui, Bambridge, and Enifala Mawainga, right? So rest in peace. He passed away a few years back, but he was a congressman for American Samoa for close to 30 years, public service. So, yeah.
So y'all a power couple.
Your wife was meant to be together, bro.
Wow, she elevated me. Right? Everybody elevates me, so I'm just in service for them,
Dang, that's crazy. So you come from some deep roots.
Deep roots.
All the way to the royal kingdom.
Deep roots.
That's
Where were you born?
So born here in Salt Lake, raised here in Utah. Was raised in Dallas for a little bit. We moved out there, came back here and lived throughout Salt Lake, in Glendale, West Valley.
Okay, so but in Utah though, so you're a homegrown kid.
Homegrown kid. Yeah.
That's why we had to get you on.
You ain't
know
lying.
what I'm saying?
But also shout out to Provo. 'cause
That's right. You know, we just on that other side of the mountain.
I lived there for most of my adulthood, so
Okay.
that's home to me. So
Okay, so you grew up in Salt Lake through your childhood, huh?
Yeah.
Went to school.
Yeah.
What was your first job? Yate?
Man, Iate University. for sure, man.
All day, huh? Every day. Yeah.
More it was Pui first. Right? It was the
Oh, right,
Pui at home,
right.
Fota, the Fota.
Yeah.
Man, just those things, right? Like,
Okay.
man, so yeah, fond, great memories, just the tongue and culture and all that. So love to learn it and live in it for a little bit. So
How many siblings you got?
So I'm the oldest of 8, 3, 3 brothers and 4 sisters. One passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace to Kathy. So man, So, man, but
Hey, hold on.
yeah,
While we on the subject, right? How you said, is your sister that passed?
yeah,
Okay. One thing that us three have in common that I always try to tell people were that we have our loved ones that passed. You know, me and cousin's dad died, and Superman's mom, right?
Yeah, man.
But never a sibling,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you this, man, because as hurt as we are losing a parent,
Yeah.
it's gotta be hard losing a brother or sister. That's like a different hurt, huh?
That's a
Because that's somebody you grew up with your whole life. You know what I mean?
deep
fool?
question. Yeah.
So can we get into that a little bit?
For
if you're
sure,
okay with
for
that?
sure. Yeah, absolutely. I would say for a sibling, I think that it's a unique feeling. You never want it to happen to your worst
Right.
enemy, right? and that I think for me and my siblings, we still hurt it to this day, right? But we know, and she would always say this, right? Whakapapa and all those things, but if you're gonna, if you're my brother, I loto ke toa.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. No, thank you for sharing that, man, because like I said, losing a parent's never easy, and I also think about the parent too, we think of the brothers and sisters, but me as a parent now, man, I couldn't imagine losing one of my kids, because that's the saying that I tell my kids is that you're supposed to bury me.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to bury you.
Yeah. I like
you know what I mean? And I would
that.
die. And it would kill me for me to bury one of you.
For sure.
Because that's not how life's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But,
for sure.
So kind of shout out to your family, man, to your mom and dad. Keep it
thanks for recognizing it, yeah.
And thank you for going into that little conversation with me, man.
For sure.
Okay, so grew up here, lost a sister.
Yeah.
You and your brother. Were you playing football, sports growing up, or what were you into growing up?
Yeah, soccer was the first game.
Soccer? Stop lying, fool. Bring these pictures up. We got postings. Yeah.
Well, yeah, soccer was the game. Man, if they have it out there, probably Anna has pictures of us in our yellow jerseys. Man. So soccer. We played soccer.
Why soccer?
That's what they threw us in, right? That's what my parents just threw, or our aunt, more so my auntie and uncles threw us in, right? And so. My dad was in the Kavatonga culture, right, environment, and my mom, man, she was a breadwinner, right, and so they'd always be gone doing their things to either serve the community or go serve the family, and so and I was basically kind of raised by my aunties and uncles and my cousins, older cousins, so.
And so you being the oldest, you kind of had to raise your brothers and sisters, in a way. Huh?
In a way, yeah. I think we raised each other up.
How it goes, yeah.
And so that I was, I give credit to them because they, at times, they'll just cook my saimini sometimes.
But how is that? How is that having a household of 8 kids? And you being the oldest, like, can you throw us in a little bit?
Yeah.
Because look, all I know is the oldest kid always beat up the younger kids. They're like, you know what I mean? When mom and dad leave,
or the oldest gets the worst.
Yeah,
it's just like that. Or what I'm saying,
right there.
Well, what I'm saying is,
come on.
What I'm saying is, the discipline wise, for mom and dad, I feel like the oldest kid gets it the worst.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when mom and dad is out, now the oldest kid, it's his chance to be like
in charge. Yeah.
When mom and dad said, "Hey, we're gonna go to the temple, watch the kids," the oldest kid is always like, yup. Yeah. And that's when you go do that and you go, and that he's the man now, So what I'm saying for you, like, growing up with 8 kids, how was that like, man?
Man, I just thinking back or reflecting on it right now, I enjoyed it, right? Like I think those memories that kind of just built us up to who we are right now, right? And it was fun. I think if people saw it, they may have thought it would be a struggle, right?
Okay.
But I think my parents did so well, or my grandparents or family.
It made it look easy.
It made it look easy, right? And so I kind of enjoyed my time, even though, there was times of just, in the streets, right? There's those moments in the streets. No, but overall, that, man, Heavenly Father provided a way and helped us out a little bit and got us out of that rut and to where we at now.
Where did you graduate from?
So in high school, graduated from East High School.
Oh, wow.
For real?
East High, Leopard, yep.
Hey, I never thought that. Okay, East and West was still going at it at your time?
Man, East, West was going at it, and Highland, right? So us in Highland. So it was like I think East and Highland was for the rivalry for the Palangis. East-West was the rivalry.
Yeah, the Palangis.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Some of the minorities, right?
Right.
That was the vibe and energy at that time, so.
Okay.
Shout out to Steven Vainuku, man, one of the best running backs. I'm just letting you know. He was bad. He was nice. He was nice. So we were going at it. I'll have to give you guys some footage. Of that.
Yeah, let's get some of that.
Yes.
Let's go back though. Fui,
Yeah.
So you said you graduated from East, but where did you find the passion for football growing up? Because you said soccer was your first sport.
Yeah.
Right. So where along the way did Fui was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I like to hit some people.
Yo.
When did that come along?
like that?
Yeah. No, I think that's where my parents had that mind frame, right? It was, man, I think he's a little too rough for soccer, so alu akapulu, right? So Hunter Little League is where I played my first games, football.
Ooh.
My first touchdown, my first tackle, everything. So
good, huh?
man, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, okay.
You said it was easy.
Okay.
Fui wasn't playing on no line. Fui was running the rock.
Hey, so that's what we're gonna get into. So did you play what you were playing in college in high school, or were you playing something else?
Yeah, so was living at West Valley, right? Okay. And then lived in Glendale, Salt Lake for a little bit, and then went to West Valley, lived there with my grandparents. That's where we got to play my first football, right? And then parents moved back right into Glendale, and then 1030 Meat Circle, that's where we were.
Oh, wow.
Right? That little government housing.
Okay.
And so we stayed there, played for East Little League all the way up.
All the way
until I got recruited by BYU.
And you were playing, but you were playing running back the whole time, Little League, all the way up?
Running back the whole time. It was, that's kind of unique. Yeah.
I was going to say, is there any other position you wanted to play at? Or was
man,
it just running back that they just put you at?
Running back was the primordial position, but safety, linebacker,
they just threw you anywhere they needed you, right?
I was a kicker. I was a punter.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about Little League growing up. You can play whatever you want. You know what I mean?
And if
you're the best player, go out there and do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys too, man. Come on now. Don't be humble now. Don't be humble now, man. You guys.
This your story, Fui. This your story.
Yeah, we were playing Tetris. Really.
Okay, so high school, and then got recruited by BYU.
Yeah.
How was that process?
Man, my first offer was really University of Utah.
Boo.
So shout out Coach Ron McBride. Man, I can't wait until you guys meet McBride. He just donated a field right in Glendale Middle School, a whole field for the whole neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna meet him. Yeah.
So
okay.
I would say he's one of the grandfathers of the Polynesian pipeline.
Yeah.
Here in Utah. Yeah.
Big facts, huh?
Yeah. And I would say, Lavelle Edwards would just follow in unison. So that's where that,
that came from.
Yeah.
It came from those.
But they were best friends. A lot of people don't know. They were best friends.
Cool,
they were cool. Their wives were cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's dope.
It was behind the scenes.
Right.
They were cool. Out in public and all that. Yeah, the rivalry.
They had to do that.
Yeah, that's business.
Blue and red. Yeah, right.
I want to dive in it, right? You said you got your first scholarship.
Yeah.
In high school, was scholarship or college a thing? Or did you want to go to college, or was it just like, you know what, I'm just going to play this? Was there any other topics other than football that was taking place?
That's what you wanted to do?
Man, rugby I wanted to, right? I was thinking, man, football doesn't pan out. Rugby would be what it was, but that was my first priority was football, right?
Wow, okay.
And so I kind of surrounded myself with people that kind of knew football, with the sports of track, did the hurdles, all that.
Oh, so you track
for real?
So track, yeah.
Where's that footage at? Y'all got that footage?
We'll have to get it one of these days.
Hey, that's right. Okay, so you just did everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tried, then being at East High School, man, shout out Mike Levitt. He was one of those guys in the Henriette family. They're the ones that kind of pulled me in, and I got to live up there on the east side. So they kind of saw potential in what I was doing. So my parents allowed me to kind
Hey,
of just
shout
hang
people out like that.
Man, that's love.
Hey, there you go, cousin.
That's big love.
Because that's big love. Because when people do that, they don't have to do that.
They don't have to.
You know what I mean? Fool?
Agreed,
So when
yeah.
somebody does it, that's
Yeah.
off us.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like a different type of love. It's not just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
the kid's good, so I'm going to have him stay with me. Nah, man. It's
Yeah.
like, to them, they're like, look, you can save your family. You
Yeah.
can save your
Come on.
Yeah.
generation of generation,
Yeah.
so.
For sure,
But
yeah.